Mr. Toastmaster, hello Toastmasters. Google Maps, cell phones, GPS, AAA membership. What if the things were available to Christopher Columbus that October Day 520 years ago when he disembarked on his journey? Probably everyone has his or her own opinion on what would happen, but for sure next week we won't be celebrating the Columbus Day. Another question is what will happen to us if we don't have any of these things when we disembark on our journey these days? Probably, most likely, we will get lost. But there is a question, is it good or bad to get lost when you go to an unknown place? What can you do to get lost if you want to? And how can you find your way when you're ready to? These are three questions I want to talk about today. So the first question is it good or bad when you get lost? My personal opinion is that when you travel, it's not only good, it's essential. I love getting ready for my next trip. I would read books, travel guides, study maps. I would prepare my plan for the trip day by day or even hour by hour. It makes me feel comfortable and it will make my trip smooth and predictable. But is it what we want from our travel, to be predictable? Do we want to be tourists or we want to be travelers and explorers? For this, we need a little bit of uncertainty. And the art of getting lost helps us with this. But how could we manage to get lost with all the preparation and aids available? For me, it's extremely easy because my homing pigeon is constantly sick. But what if you are not that lucky as I am? Out there are a lot of suggestions what you can do to get lost if you want to. But I would like to share with you one of my tricks. Get lost before you travel. Get lost on internet. Stage your getting lost experience. It's very easy now because out there, besides TripAdvisor and Lonely Planet, there are a lot of description of backways and bypasses. That's how I actually found an address for a very small fish restaurant in Rome, Trattoria de Pesce. I haven't printed a map. I have drawn it myself by hand in my little pocketbook. I almost ruined our experience when I tried to call the restaurant to get a reservation. But we were lucky. The person who answered my call didn't speak a word in English. So we spent 3 hours roaming around small Rome streets, very far from tourist places. We spoke to a very emotional old gentleman, a laughable young mom with 2 bambinos, to several young couples. None of them were polyloquent. Finally, we found a very kind Italian lady who literally took our hands and brought us to the restaurant doorstep, just to find out that it wouldn't open until 4 hours later. Can you guess what happens next? And before we even started realizing what's going to happen, they opened the restaurant, especially for us. The chef were called in and came to cook for us. And by the end of the day, we had the most wonderful fish dinner with the grilled branzini and the perfect Italian Chianti. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the map right now because I gave it to my friends we met a little bit later, and I haven't heard from them yet. I hope they managed to get lost and I enjoyed the experience. This raises the next question. How do you find your way back to this civilization when you are ready to? There is this Alice in Wonderland method. Do you remember it? When one is lost, I suppose it is good advice to stay where you are until someone finds you. Does not work for me. Too many people right now use this advice. So there is another approach, also very common used. A tongue will take you anywhere. That's true. You ask for direction. It's very hard to communicate your question. It's extremely hard to understand the answer. So I found one advice, which I always use. Ignore the words. Smile politely and gratefully, and wash the hands. Even this may not help you very much if the work ahead of you is very long. So there is another trick. Mark, remember, and follow just first step. Should you go forward? Should you turn left? Should you turn right? That's enough. Follow the first step, ask the next person. This way, not only you will get to your point, but you will also be able to connect to all the people along the way, which is a part of traveling experience. So to summarize, what I have learned from my travels is that if I get lost and allow myself to go with it, I will not change the world. But I will be able to turn even an ordinary trip into a memorable experience, adventure. So if you haven't tried it yet, I invite you to embrace the benefits of getting lost, to go with the flow and enjoy the experience. Bon voyage.